They were
Mm.
shamanic journeys. They were not about health in the physical sense. They were about spiritual health and coming fully into the body and embodiment and liberation. There was 4 ceremonies that he brought me through. And in the fourth one, I was laying on the acupuncture table and Yeshua came into the room in his full materialized form again. And this time I was like, not questioning it because
Yeah.
I'd gone through 8 years of so much phenomenon that there's no doubt left in me. There's no how left in me. There's just full sublime like trust and awe and
Oh, I
wonder.
love that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are bringing back one of our favorite guests, Ahaumna. I'm Jeneth Blackert,
And I'm Leonka Reina.
and this is the Haute Mystic Morning Show. Ahaumna, welcome.
Hi. While we're getting started,
Hi.
let me say a couple of things about you. So, Ahaumna Amaya is an esteemed author, speaker, and multidimensional healer dedicated to liberating the souls worldwide. With over a decade in mentoring, her insightful courses and retreats invigorate and enlighten, promoting wealth, health, and spiritual freedom. As a galactic wisdom keeper, she leads individuals to embrace and connect deeply with their holy, holistic nature, empowering them to live the life they were destined for. Ahaumna, yay! Welcome.
Yay.
Hi,
Wow.
Looks so
ladies.
good.
Thank
Wow.
you.
I feel like every time you come on our show, you've just like up leveled.
So she's definitely
And
glowing.
timeline shifted and up leveled and
Yeah.
timeline shifted. And from reading some of your work, I can tell that you absolutely are and have. It's a phenomenal. You wrote recently to your list something that you had not shared with anybody before. And I was reading through every single word of
Me
it, and I
too.
thought, my gosh, she needs to share this. And maybe we start the show right there, if that's okay.
Or you can back up a little bit and tell us a little bit about how you came into this work and then tell us how you got to there.
I was born into this work.
Yeah, that's right.
I have been actively pursuing a deep relationship with God, the creator, creation, the universe, the cosmos. Language is just a relative thing here. Whatever resonates with you is perfect, right? There is no, I don't feel in my body a right or wrong path anymore. It's
No, I
just
love that.
love. So you're entitled to whatever language resonates inside of your body. And since I was teeny tiny little human, I was here for love, here for God. And my path took me on many challenging initiations. I know we've talked on other ones about having been abducted as a small child, entered into all different types of like interdimensional contracts. I am a walk in. So I received a new soul about 8 years ago and into this body that is Ahaumna. And it's really a very long story. So to make it short, like there was no other path for me here.
Yeah.
So some people can walk other paths and they can divert themselves. I can't. If I try, I get physically sick and I almost die. So it's either this path or I leave the body. That's the only option for me here and now. And we're all psychically really aware of each other. So I knew y'all were gonna ask me about that post.
Jeneth had a dream about it, I think. Then she came in and talked about it. And then I went back and read it again. And I was like, yeah, this makes sense to me. But there was still, I felt like there was a connection that you had with your people that were reading it. And I felt like it was for the bigger masses to hear and experience as well.
One of the things that I really got was that I wonder if that was some of the energy required to heal yourself when you were blind. Some of that energy that was moving through you and coursing through you.
Yes. And I always like to be really clear that some things in life take physical devotion. And I worked with a lot of neurological specialists, and neurological optometry got me my vision back. And sure, the mystery of love coursing through me aided in that, but it also is what collapsed my vision to begin with.
Oh, I see.
Having so much currency running through my body that basically everything, I guess some people are brand new to my world here. So I was legally blind for 3 years after I walked into this body. I came in like a thunderbolt of Thor. And it just brought so much energy into this body. And this beloved body had a lot of trauma, a lot of traumatic brain injuries from just being a kid and really active and riding horses and playing sports. And then I had an implant in my brain that was from when I was abducted, and that would cause me to pass out whenever frequency would run through my body. So then you're hitting your head on the ground. So lots and lots of traumatic brain injuries. So when I then brought all of myself into this body, my brain couldn't handle that frequency, and everything came online at once. And so our brains are hardwired to protect itself, right? To protect survival. And so what happened is several systems shut down. And one of those systems was the brain to eye communication channel pathway. And my brain said, okay, we see now every dimension simultaneously. Like it's no longer just seeing this cup, it's now seeing this cup and where it was for the last 5 years since it was made, and then every person that's ever touched it, and then every version of it moving through my house, and then what it has to say and what it has to feel, and everything all at once. My brain was like, this is just too much. So it shut down.
That makes sense.
The communication pathway between the eyes and the brain. So if I would go to a normal optometrist, they would be like, your eyes are working fine. And I'm like, okay, then why don't I see anything? Why are things disappearing right in front of me? Like, why? I notoriously was like wasting a ton of food during this period of time because I just didn't see it. Like I would buy it and then I didn't see it in the fridge. And my sweet partner, Alex, he would move things to the front of the fridge and he'd be like, this is like expired 2 weeks ago. And I was like, what?
Yeah, interesting.
Because I couldn't communicate that pathway. Like our eyes are sending all the information to the brain, and then the brain is saying, this is a cup, this is lasagna, this is a computer screen, training my brain and eyes to work together again with a neurological optometrist. So a lot of times people can go into this, oh, I'm having this spiritual awakening and it's doing XYZ to my body. And they just use that as almost a way to bypass the physiological experience of our body saying, what's happening right now is too much for me. I need help. I need support. Maybe I need a cleanse. Maybe I need a detox. Maybe I need to learn how to nap and rest and sleep. I need, in my situation, more advanced practitioners and care and training to get my body to a place where it can actually hold that consciousness and the velocity of energy that was flowing through me. Because our bodies have been deeply handicapped. They are experiencing a teeny tiny fragment of what's real around us. And you start to open up that reality. And then every layer from our lineage, from the moment when humanity became handicapped, all the fear, all the trauma, all the pain, all of the reasons why it believes that actually being handicapped is much more safe for it, experiencing all of this sublime wonder. And you have to face all of that inside of yourself. And I'm consistently devoted to that because it's the only thing I know how to do to be here. Like it's the only way I know how to be here. To keep going and going.
Would you say a big part of your path is to help people with physical healings now?
I would say that the physical is always a byproduct of spirit, right? So everything is always a spiritual crisis. And this is a lot of my practice and my roots are in Chinese medicine. As far as like the cosmology of healing is concerned, some of my modalities I've developed through my own body and through experience and just working with patients and clients and things like that. But the lineage that understands like physiological debilities that resonates most with me is Chinese medicine, because from that language, everything is spirit. So a physiological, even if you break your bone, like there's a really great book, The Conscious Language, The Logos of Now, I believe it's called. And we track the moment of what you unconsciously said the moment before you broke your bone. We repattern that moment, and people's bones are spontaneously healing, like they never were broken to begin with.
Wow.
So everything, yeah, it's insane. It's incredible body of work. This man, I can't think of his name right now, but again, the book is The Conscious Language, The Logos of Now. And he used to live near us in Appalachia, but now I live in Texas.
Oh, welcome to Texas.
Yeah. Where are you in Texas?
Dripping Springs.
I'm going to take us through a little bit about that post. What was the inspiration there? Tell me what you saw when you saw her post.
So that reminded me of when I was in the Access class, and it felt like Dane walked through me.
That's right.
And I all of a sudden started getting this energy through my body. And all of a sudden I was like, I think I can do this too.
Uh-huh.
And when that happened, it literally was like he was behind me, but it felt like he went through me. And she described it as this indescribable energy coursing through her. And I feel like I just named the energy. I was like, okay, this doesn't seem like the ESB that he speaks of. So I ended up calling it awesomeness, in which case we then knew from the Arcturian dragons that it might have supposed to be Ormetus. And one of the things that I know is that Dane says, when I'm doing this, I'm in a different universe. And when you lay on my table, you are in that universe with me. And it makes me really sense now that I'm learning more and we're having other conversations around it, that this energy that's coming through us is literally that galactic energy supporting us to heal us and change our bodies, change our lives, change our vision on planet Earth. And she just said it in this beautiful, eloquent words. No wonder I keep going, I want her back. I want her back. I want her back. And every single time we get her back, she seems like she's up leveled. And
that's probably why we hadn't scheduled her for a while, because
her can't transition again. If you haven't seen one of her previous shows, we do have one on meridians and money that is really cool.
So you can check it out. You can also visit our page and subscribe while you're there. So it is on YouTube, and you can just search the words Haute and Hustle.
She just came back on.
Sometimes these energies,
That's what happens.
Yes, exactly. Sometimes the energies that we bring to our computers really do time them out. And sometimes there are other sources or other things that just don't want that knowledge to be shared
in a larger group.
But we're not to be deterred. So
well, real quick, everything that keeps us from being compatible with this technology today, will you please let that go, destroy it, and create?
Yes.
Thank you, guys. While you were gone, I was sharing a little bit about my moment where an energy came through me, and I knew it was almost like Neo in the Matrix, where I felt like I had a light body behind me that came through me, that then all of a sudden I felt, oh my gosh, I know how to do this. It sounds a little bit similar from your Yeshua story.
That was a similar experience for me too, while doing the QHHT project experience as well.
Yeah. And just to clarify, this was not a channeling experience. Nothing came through my body. Yeshua manifested in front of me. Like it was another living being.
Apparition, right? Is that what you would call it? Yeah.
I would call it a manifestation. An apparition is like a spiritual vision, but this was a physical material being.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah. So I guess to answer your question from before, I share the story because I was called to share the story. It was the series of guardians that I work with, the way that my work is wanting to come out into the world. I'm just a vehicle for it. I just say yes. And a part of the trajectory of where we're going, of training facilitators in the healing modalities that I work with in the new year, this story needed to be shared to just help people understand who I am, what I'm here for, and the level of devotion that I hold. So the story is a part of that. And really it begins all the way back in childhood. I have memories of being a tiny little girl and walking with Yeshua just down the street and at beaches. And I would go and stay at my grandmother's house, who had a picture of him. And I would always ask next to her bed, and I would sleep in her bed when I was there because I had a lot of really intense trauma. I would like sleep in her room. That was like the safe space. But I'd ask her to put the photo down because his presence was all around me and it was too much. Like I didn't understand, and no one in my family were like religious people. We didn't go to church. My grandmother did, but I didn't live with my grandmother, right? You go and see your grandmother. My parents, they weren't religious people. And it was all just, quite frankly, a lot to handle with no one to communicate or understand just all of the psychic phenomenon that was happening to me as a very small child. But he was constantly leading me on my path, like to the point where when I was 11, I chose to go study religion and to pursue religious education. And my family was like, why are you choosing to go to a religious school? We're going to have to study 4 religions every year for the next, like, what ended up being from 7th grade all the way through my bachelor's degree. And I had the option to go to a creative arts school and do like singing and dancing and things that were really fun for me, and artistry, and pursue that path. And I just was like, no, this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be studying the religions of the world. I don't understand why, but this is where I'm being called. This is where I'm being led. And that period of my life, what was an all girls Catholic school, was really challenging because I would receive messages from Yeshua, and I would bring things forward in these studies of the Bible. And I was studying every religion. I wasn't just studying Catholicism, like every religion I was studying. And I'm like, why is there so much separation? You guys are all saying the same
I
thing,
know.
but you're not actually embodying the teaching that is being shared. You have a belief that is the antithesis of the teaching that's being shared. And people really had a hard time with that. When I was a kid, I was constantly kicked out of classes. Nuns were my teachers, so they really weren't okay with it. I was called a Jezebel spirit, which is like the worst thing a nun could call you, which is basically like the
I get
woman
it.
who comes to earth to destroy the Catholic Church. And in some ways, like, yeah, I am a Jezebel spirit in that sense. Like, I am here to bring forward the misalignments of religiosity and like I always tell people, I'm like, if Bible thumpers today, if Yeshua returned to this earth, they would not recognize him. They would not only not recognize him, they would shun him the moment he started actually sharing the same things that are in the Bible, because they've been so brainwashed and conditioned and manipulated to see themselves as a victim.
Wow.
And he as the savior. And he's not resonating in the victim, perpetrator, rescuer consciousness that humanity's been stuck and plagued in. And so he's not the savior, right? That's not who he is. One with the unified field. And he moves from that unity consciousness. And so that was really challenging for people for a long time. So I just learned that this is a part of my life that I'm meant to keep for me. Mm-hmm. That this is just for me. This is an experience of God that I get to have.
Yes.
Yes.
That's exciting.
And
I was going to say, I can totally relate, because I too had, you had yours with Catholicism, but I had just different exposures to several different religions all the way through college. I was raised by a Catholic family. I was confirmed Lutheran, so my other grandma would pick me up into Lutheran. And then I married a Jehovah's Witness. I was saved several times because I would just go to these different camps because it was something for my grandma to send me off to do. So I was Baptist, Southern Baptist, Pentecostal was my best friend. Today, my son goes to a Catholic school, but we talk a lot about there are very different ways in which that you can experience the word of God. Like that it's not the end all be all. And this is my son, he's 13. I get it, Mom. He goes, there's a lot of different religions and they're all saying the same thing. And I thought, wow, you get it. As a 13-year-old, you get it. So we've had to have those conversations. And I think that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about what were the next place that you took this message.
Let me just share the story from that post so that everyone's, what post are we talking about here? I shared in this post that in 2015, maybe 2014, I can't remember exactly. I was in LA with a client when Yeshua materialized himself, like physiologically standing in front of me, could touch this being. And I was on the top of a mountain. I was in a ceremony with this client who was there, and he was now over on the hills of LA, like right in the Pacific Palisades. There's a bunch of hills. So we're now on the opposite sides of the same hill. So we can't really see each other at this point because he's off now doing his own work. And Yeshua is now standing in front of me, and I'm like, what? Rubbing my eyes like any sane person would be. I'm like, this is not real. Also having just so much love pouring through my body that it was like uncomfortable to be in his presence. And I was like, what are you doing here? What is happening right now? Is this real life? And he just said to me, I've come here to deliver a message for you. You're ready. At this point, I had now been basically living in my car for the last year, and I was going into homeless communities and I was laying hands of healing, and I was going into the forest and I was fasting for 40 plus days on just water alone, meditating all day, every day in the forest. Like I was committing my life to God, and I had just married myself and like ultimately married God. Like I made a lot of commitments, and I was showing up in that point of my life to say, I'm no longer going to be who anyone else wants me to be here. I'm done. I'm only here for God. And I was taking the steps to not only say that, but to be that. And that is a really big thing that a lot of master teachers, Yeshua is just one of them, even just incarnate in this form. You have to walk the walk, not just talk the talk.
Yes.
Right?
A huge point.
We talk about that a lot.
I was walking the walk and it was not very comfortable at times. And so he was like, I've come now to deliver this message. You're ready to receive this message. And I was like, okay, what's the message? And he just said, you're here to lead the way. And at that time I was like, okay, but how do I do that? I was still like not fully in that knowing of what that path would look like. Cause this was over a decade ago now. It's 2025. And I was just making those moves away from the life that I had been living, and was still in the use of the word how. I don't even use the word how anymore because everything just happens. Like I don't need to know how, it just happens. I just keep saying yes and it happens, and I keep showing up. That's it, period. Don't need to know how. I don't care to know how. Knowing how somehow usually just blocks it from happening to begin with. So I was though asking these questions and I was sobbing. I had to go to my desktop. My laptop could not handle the frequency of this conversation.
It's a big one. It's a big one, y'all. Thank you.
So I'm just on this mountain, and this is the conversation. It's back and forth like this for 20 minutes. I'm just asking how, and he just keeps saying, you are the way. You're here to lead the way. And I'm like, how do I do that? And he's like, you are the way. You're here to lead the way. That's all he would give me over and over until he left. Afterwards, I am really big on math and science and not just believing things that happen. Like I question the nature of my reality. I question all of my experiences. I look for evidence. I look for proof. I look for science that backs what I'm having and experiencing. I don't just have an experience. So after that, I was like, okay, I now need proof that this happened. I now need to trust what I just received and experienced because I know how it felt in my body. And so my client and I get into the car and he's driving. And we end up getting lost in the Pacific Palisades at this point. And now we drove for 15, 20 minutes and we just are ending up at the top of this hill in the Pacific Palisades. That was a cul-de-sac. And in the center of the cul-de-sac, there's this giant Christmas tree and lights. And it was July. And I was just like, oh, okay. This is somehow we ended up on this mountain getting lost. Our GPS misguiding us to a Christmas tree that happens to be up in July. And I literally asked my client, I was like, do you see this tree too? Is it here for you too? Because I'm seeing a Christmas tree right now. And I just want to make sure you're seeing a Christmas tree. And there is a Christmas tree in front of us. I'm like, okay, that's it. The Christmas is the sign of Yeshua and Christ. So that was that confirmation that I needed in that moment. And for the next several years, I just worked with Yeshua in private. He was helping me heal my body. He was helping me really be on the path that I was walking with God and with life, really, with just being in love with life and with my own healing process. And it wasn't until this was now 2 years ago that he materialized again for me, like coming into the flesh, into the space that I was in when I was being initiated into, I'm not able to share the name because
that's fine.
It's sacred. It's not meant to be talked about.
Yeah.
But it was a tradition of a Taoist. I work with Taoist meridian-based modalities, and my acupuncturist was initiated into this protocol that he was hand selected because he'd cultivated the energy over really lifetimes to learn. And he was like, okay, I don't know at the time who I'm going to be facilitating this on because no one in my world is ready for this until this moment came. And he was like, okay, wow, I received this so I could pass it on to you. guide you through this rite of passage, which a lot of meridian based, like the true ancient meridian based modalities were rites of passage. They were shamanic journeys. They were not about health in the physical sense. They were about spiritual health and coming fully into the body and embodiment and liberation. There was 4 ceremonies that he brought me through, and in the 4th one I was laying on the acupuncture table and Yeshua came into the room in his full materialized form again. And this time I was like not questioning it, because I'd gone through 8 years of so much phenomenon that there's no doubt left in me. There's no how left in me. There's just full sublime like trust and awe and wonder.
I love that.
So I'm just like, hey buddy, welcome back.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much.
Just his presence is like omnipotent love, right? It's just so pure and beautiful and caring and kind. And he was laying his hands on my feet. And as he was laying his hands on my feet, we started talking about the blood of Christ and how he was running the blood of Christ through my body. And this was a really significant thing for me, especially because when I walked in, I almost died. Like the physical body almost died in that process. And one of the things that happen, if your blood basically radiates a scalar electromagnetic field, and it sends out a frequency pulse to every cell in your blood. And that frequency pulse is how your soul identifies your body as its body.
Oh, cool.
So our blood is very sacred and important to the spirit realms. And in order for your soul to come fully into your body, you have to have vital, healthy blood. The last few years to hijack the spirit of the planet, why at the same time certain presidents were saying we're in a battle for the soul of humanity. There was a lot of things happening. And it directly was all because of this mechanism in our blood. So as a walk-in, specifically a separate soul, a lot of people will go through their own souls walking into their body, or they'll go through different types of walk-in experiences to what I went through, which is a completely separate soul comes in and takes over the body, and the other soul bardos out and goes through a full death. Because of that, that meant that the blood in the body had to drain to such a deficiency that it almost killed my physical body.
Got it.
And then I had to rebuild the blood that would recognize and hold the frequency of who I am, which is why we don't have a lot of walk-ins like these. You need a lot of physical support. You need resources. You need people around you who understand what's happening, because when you have that low of blood in your body, your mind also starts doing things.
That makes sense.
Health,
yep.
All mental health, the mind lives in the blood too, so it comes down to the mind. Like, and you have to have a really strong fortification of your mind and connection to God, because things get really crazy and intense for a period of time in that process. So for him to come in and start talking about the blood of Christ, like I then got a live blood analysis certification. Like I was like, I'm obsessed with the blood now, because now I understand what it actually is for.
Nice.
And I look at people's blood and I can see where their spirit is in their multidimensional anatomy and how unavailable they are for their soul, possibly at this time, and what's in the way and what needs to happen for that Holy Spirit of who they are to come fully into their body.
Nice.
Because the blood has to hold it and then be able to stabilize it. An unhealthy blood that's filled with parasites or calcium deposits is a really huge thing that people have in their blood. It's just like solidifications of trauma, which is what calcium deposits are.
Wow.
All of that makes it so that there's no room in the body for the spirit to fully come in. So he was now going through and he was saying, I'm running the blood of Christ through your body, and that this is now what you will offer, right? You will offer the blood of Christ. Anyone you touch, anyone who comes into contact with your fields will receive the blood of Christ, so that their soul can fully come in and that their blood can heal. Because at this point, you know, it is in regards to the COVID vaccine, like however people feel about it, there's now a plethora of information of what it does to the blood of the body. People are dropping dead. We know this, right? So because of this attack on the blood that happened, like we now needed technologies to help people come clear out their blood, so that we're in a rapid cycle of a lot of souls trying to come fully into their body. and like ground here consciousness fully in the roots, take back control of their vessel from the epigenetic overlays,
Sure.
which is the virus of the ego that has infiltrated humanity.
Wow. I love how you
And
put
I
that.
do too. Go ahead.
right. So it's like we're in this process, like souls are just like literally lining up. They're like ready to come in, and then they
Yeah.
come in. And I always describe it to people, your soul will come down through your crown and it will scan the body. And it's, can I live here? Can I live in this body? And most of the time, the answer is no. And that's because of the physiological war that's been happening on this planet that's made this planet very toxic and thus made a lot of our bloods very toxic. The ocean is poison. That means our blood is, right? Our blood and the ocean, they mirror each other. So if we look at the waters of the world, see the pollution on the planet, like that's in our inside.
Yeah.
So what then happens is all the symptoms start to come up for people. And they can see that symptoms like, oh, it's just my Kundalini awakening. And I'm having like, no, it's your body saying, I can't hold this energy and I need you to now go find someone who knows what all these symptoms mean and get the help and the support to regenerate the biome, to regenerate the body, and to go through this process. So, what Yeshua was doing in that moment, because people who often come to me, like everyone has a different facilitator and teacher and person that they will resonate with. For people who come find me, who resonate with the work that I do, they're advanced, they're healing others, they're working on other people's bodies, they're transmitting for other people, and their soul is already down to their heart. It just hasn't been able to ground fully into the roots, because once you get down here, you get to ancestral spells and curses and multidimensional trauma and like everything, that all the deepest fears and divisiveness and polarity on this planet, you've got to come face to face with to ground your soul into your root chakra. And so people come to me when they're ready for that level, because I can hold it, because I've gone through it and I understand how to hold space for every aspect of consciousness from love and non-judgment.
Love that.
And that takes a lot of practice to do that, to look at all the crazy things that could happen in this world and hold space for them with love and non-judgment, so that they can be seen, heard, and loved, which is what all parts of us need in order to find wholeness. So in that moment, I asked for a revelation. And I asked for this revelation because the energy was just coursing through me of this blood of Christ. Like it was filling in my cells, and I felt hands on my head, whom I identified as Mary Magdalene, or Mari Hari Magdalena, which is her more like soul name. And I asked for a revelation in that moment. And that was it. I just said, show me a revelation. And in that moment, Yeshua split into 144 different beings. And I recognized two of those beings. One of them was Mary Magdalene, who's one of the 144 incarnations of the monad that is. The other being that I recognized was Sun C Mao. And Sun C Mao is the founder of Chinese medicine. He's one of the 8 immortals. He has reached immortal status. He's still alive thousands of years on this planet. Up until that point, he had been teaching me for the 2 years prior to this moment, and initiating me into the work that I do with the ghost points, into the meridian magic modalities that I offer. And that pretty much happened through another little story where I was transported into his body. And I was inside of his body, and I'm just like looking around me, and I'm like, okay, I'm in a tiny hut, and all I see out in front of me is mountains, very high mountains, and I'm speaking a language that is not English. I'm speaking an Asian-based language, and I'm understanding what's happening. I'm understanding what's saying, and I'm treating this little boy with acupuncture. And his dad's in the corner, and I look over at myself in a little mirror, and I'm this like elder Chinese man. And I'm like, okay, so I'm just here for it. All these, at this point in my life, like I've had so many different experiences like this, that there's no longer anything that comes up for me other than just like gratitude. Like this is happening while I was face down on the acupuncture table. And I was just having so much gratitude. I was just crying tears of gratitude. And when I came back into my body, he came into my body with me. And he spent 7 days inside of my body. And I, like I always do, I was like, okay, I need validation that I'm not just going crazy.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
When you go through a really extreme blood deficiency, like it messes with your mind and you lose your mind, and you know what it feels like to lose your mind. So you start questioning things and looking for evidence so that you have stories that can be shared with people in the future, because they're going to
Sure.
look at you and be like,
Yeah.
this chick is crazy.
Yeah.
So in that moment, he said, okay, I need you to go book a meeting, book an appointment with one of my friends. And she does acupuncture as well. But she's also a seer. She sees. And I had never had acupuncture with her before, because I was really devoted to the lineage that I was studying. And my acupuncturist had been working with him for years. So I wasn't like, it's abnormal for me to book an acupuncture session with someone different
Sure.
48 hours after I just had one. So I called her. I'm like, hey, can you get me in immediately? She's like, yeah, come on up. So she's treating me, and she just looks down at me, and I tell her nothing that's happening, right? She just knows nothing about anything that just happened, period. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just here. I'm just supposed to receive from you today. And she's treating me, and she finally says, do you know why Sun C Mao is sitting in the corner?
Wow.
I love that she said it so matter of fact. Cool.
Verbatim,
Yes,
the
I love
words that
it.
came
Yeah.
out of her mouth. And I was like,
Oh, that's my sign.
you see him too. I was like, he's presently inside of my body, like in the field with me. And I shared the whole process that I just gone through, because now I was like, okay, he brought me here because he knew that she would see him.
Yeah.
And that she would give me this confirmation.
Validation. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like, this is real. He's here. This is happening.
Wow.
And so that
Cool.
then he was in my body for 7 days. So that was about 48 hours after. So then the next 5 days, he was just intensive. We were study, lineage, devotion, learning everything. This is when he was sharing with me the money meridians
Uh-huh.
and the meridian
What a
magic
gift.
technique that I use with the money meridians. And then at the end, when he was ready to leave my body, he was like, there's one more reason that I came in here. And just taking a moment to honor
Yes. Thank you.
him and this lineage in this moment. He said, you are now meant to facilitate the ghost points. And then he left. And this was the work that, quite honestly, like physiologically saved my body's life. I was having seizures. I was having just so much chaos in this walk-in process. And I had gone through the first trinity of the ghost points, and I have not had a seizure since. And I was having seizures every day, sometimes rolling seizures that would go on and on for hours, with little break, where all I could do was I would do these army crawl around my house, because army crawling is a neurological reorganization technique that helps your brain repattern from when you literally crawled as a baby. So I would do all these neurological repatterning, because I understood I was in the midst of a spiritual crisis that was impacting my brain.
Yeah.
And I had people around me that had tools and resources, and I was studying.
Okay, guys, quick pause. We've got something really close to our hearts to share with you today.
Yeah, that's right. If you've been feeling off, or like your energy is scattered, or you're just not feeling like you, we got you. We know we both had those days.
Yep. And that's why we've had Chakra Harmonics created for you by a sound engineer. It's a 7-hour sound healing journey that's truly been a game changer.
Yeah, it's super exciting. It's 7 tracks, each one an hour long, specifically tuned to each chakra. And we're not talking about just relaxing. These are sound frequencies that truly shift things.
Yeah, one of my favorite ways is to use it while I'm reading. I just put them in the background, read my book, and then in a few minutes, I feel really alive and clear.
It's so lovely. And the cool thing is, the whole thing is just $27. No fluff, no hidden fees, nothing like that. Just beautiful, powerful energy that you can come back to use time and time again.
Yeah. So if you're needing a reset, head on over to houtehustle.com/chakra. That's houtehustle.com/chakra and give them a try.
Now, back to the show.
Like, I'm getting through this. I'm going to take a pill and stop these seizures. Thank God I had my partner who was there for me, someone who could hold space for what I was going through. So the fact that it had ended my seizures was life-giving. It was
Yeah.
giving me the capacity to be human and to be able to go into the grocery store and not be terrified that an episode's going to come on and I'm
Yeah.
going to be here
Yeah.
stranded, and like I couldn't see what was happening. So it was just a lot, like regular human functions that we really take for granted. When you lose them, you realize what a gift it is to be alive.
Yes.
To just be able to function as a human being is a great gift. When you don't have that and you realize how much more challenging life is without it, you start to value every tiny little thing, like being able to drive a car or
Yeah.
being able to go out for tea or go grocery shopping or take your dog for a walk. Like just basic things become sacred. And so my experience through those points were just like, thank God that I got to receive these. There was never a thought of, I'm going to facilitate this work. That wasn't my end goal. It was just, my life has been blessed.
Yeah.
And I'm devoted to the meridians, to the technology of our body, which is basically what the meridians are. I've experienced miracle after miracle through that devotion. So when he said, you're meant to facilitate these, I was okay, but I'm not an acupuncturist. I don't work with needles. He was like, don't worry, I will show you the way.
Yeah.
I will show you the way. I'll show you the way. And he led me to a teacher who was doing them without needles, who was doing this work without needles. And then from there, he was continuously showing me how I was meant to evolve it and actually add additional points for the trauma that is relevant for today's times. And because this modality, it just ends the loop of incessant trauma, right? A ghost is anything that is feeding on your essence and is keeping you from your full potential, from your original innocence, from just being the pure, joyous human being that you're here to be as a spirit embodied. And that is trauma, but it's also expectations that were put on you. It's beliefs that were told to you. It was stories that you developed. A lot of people have real significant generational spells and curses that are in their lineage, and things that have been recapitulating generation after generation. And then also in our own life, the pattern that just keeps coming back over and over in different experiences, those would all be ghosts, things
Yeah.
that are haunting you and keeping you from your true path. And so when I saw, and to take you back to that moment, then when Yeshua came again and then showed me that Sun C Mao and him were the same monad, and the monad in our spirit body anatomy is several layers up. Our soul is a part of the monad, and the monads, so you could call that an avatar level of consciousness in like a human language. And one monad has many incarnations that are a part of it. So all of these 144 that were there in that room with me were all different iterations of the same monad that Yeshua is a part of.
Wow.
Sun C Mao being one of them, and myself also being from that same monad, and not myself, but right, the oversoul that I am.
Yes.
And this then began really the oversoul embodiment process for me. So sharing that story was several pieces. The movement of this lineage needing to come out into the world in a more, I've been a hermit, like you ladies know, like I was living in the middle of nowhere, hermit.
Yeah.
Deep,
Yeah.
deep, deep in doing the inner work, still doing the outer work in the world. I've run a very successful business, yet the focus was doing the inner work, people finding me and traveling to me to do this work, and it being relatively small amount of people that were ready for that spark to come in. And the shift is now we are in a period for the next several years where we need a massive spark to move through the collective. There's a lot of really major planetary changes that are going to be happening in the next years to come, that are going to be massive waves of consciousness that are going to
Sure.
either bring a lot of souls into their body who are ready, and it's also going to evacuate a lot of people out of here.
Yeah.
Simultaneously, both will happen. Their soul will either touch down and they need to exit, or their soul will come in and they will go through the rite of passage that is, and evolve with the planet. And this is like quick fast timeline that we're on now. There's no more like dilly-dallying around that can happen. The frequency is not going to slow down. It's only increasing from here. A part of me not showing up fully for that aspect was holding on to certain realities of my experience that I wasn't sharing that needed to be shared.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing it, because I think that it really makes us all see the, how do you say this, the spirit working through us.
Yes.
Yeah. It really, we hear these really cool stories and people share about past lives and channels and talking to the Arcturians or the Palladians, and that's cool, right?
But what's the bigger
but this is, you're coming with this humility and showing us really how to walk it. And I think that's, the world is ready for that, for one.
See?
Yep, you just made
for the
bells
most
go
part.
off, man.
And it's 1:11.
I love that. Yep.
Oh, too fun, too
Yeah.
fun. Golly, signs everywhere.
No,
Validation is everywhere.
I would love for you to tell us about even your communities and how you're working with people.
Mhm.
And I, of course, want to share the special offer and how people can enter your world.
I have a event happening on the 22nd where I'm going to be sharing with people about the ghost points, this lineage that I've talked about here, and the modality that it's been on the planet for thousands of years, but it was actually intentionally suppressed, and there was active attempts to actually burn the books and eradicate it from the planet.
Yes.
When communism came into China, they stripped the spirit out of the medicine, and with it, all of the more shamanic transmissions of the meridians, and the ghost points being one of them. So on the 22nd, I have a free event where I'm going to be, for the first time, actually sharing more about this work, this body of work. We have the next group ceremony starts in November. So that's an opportunity where people can come and learn really more about what this modality is, what it treats, both physically. It treats a lot of physiological things, mental health struggles. Yes, it treats seizures, it treats anything neurological, but it also just treats like all the incessant little patterns that are constantly like showing up in people's lives. They become dissolved in a really beautiful way, where you realize like all these tethers and codependencies and all these ways that you're not living in integrity anymore. So that's happening on the 22nd. You can go to ahaumna.com/mystery and sign up for that if the ghost points are activating in your body as you hear about this, because they live in your body. And then that is the pathway to come in to do this work with me of the ghost points in November 2026. We are facilitating training. So we're going to be taking people to learn this lineage of the ghost points, and to also learn how to fully facilitate multidimensional trauma and create miracles. I lead very rigorous, intensive 400-hour facilitator training programs. This is the level of training that I feel that people require in order to be facilitators here for healing and to create miracles. And it's both online and in person. There is a 100-hour in-person practicum as well, so that people are really adept and confident and can go out in the world and actually facilitate this work when they leave. So that's the main work available for the ghost points. And then I have my money meridians.
There's a little bit different special offer this time, but we will share the money meridians also on the live page. I think that's just a fascinating program.
I'm glad that you spoke about that more too. It's beautifully laid out, but just as somebody else said, Stacy said, I'm profoundly moved by your words today.
I am moved too. I feel like my whole frequency changed.
Me too.
So the Christar DNA activations here, these came through the planet in 2021. I have facilitated over 55 planetary Templar activations as a speaker for Guardians, Yeshua being one of them. And these are activations that have been missions to evolve consciousness, to reclaim the planetary Templar, and to, so many things have happened. But these were the very first of the over 55 missions that we've run. This is not just me doing this. Hundreds of people have done these missions. We've traveled around the world to do these missions. We've led retreats doing these missions. And these specific 7 activations are working with the 7 suns, and they are working on your DNA Templar. They activate dormant memories. They work to heal the nervous system. A lot of people have spontaneous psychic abilities come back online just through these 7 activations, and because they're working with the planetary pulse that's coming through the planet, and it's about catching up to speed with where the planet is, because the planet's actually far ahead of where humanity is right now, and it's trying to lead people forward in consciousness.
That's what all the solar flares are about.
Each one talks about a different layer, a different sun that is actually activating a site on the planet that has been used for all these activations to birth the new Stargate system on the planet. But it goes in and it does a lot of healing of the body, activating of the DNA. This one, the crystalline tree, that it restructures the entire nervous system of the body. A lot of people's nervous systems are oriented around fear. And that's just period. Boom, your nervous system is going to look for fear. That's what it's going to do. That's what it's designed to do when it has been inactivated to the solar consciousness. So this hooks the nervous system back into the solar consciousness. And then it goes deeper and deeper until we get to the final activations where you bring online your Vibrea body, which opens up 13 seals and allows you to start translating more of your soul essence into your body and breaking your system out of the base 10 mathematics, which is the Metatronic reversals. It is the 9th system of mortality. And this plugs you back into the base 12 Christ star template of our immortal nature.
That's exciting.
These activations are, and that's why we have the bonus training that these all came through. So these activations are crazy. They came through in 2021 when I was on sabbatical. I was healing my body. I was like really deep in that period of I still wasn't seeing. And the guardians that I speak with, they were like, okay, you need to have 33 people come to your land and run these activations on this date. And I was like, I physically can't even get out of my bed right now. I'm on a sabbatical first and foremost. So I'm not sending an email. I'm not doing a social media post. I can't engage. I can't see to do those things right now. And they were just like, don't worry, everyone will show up. You just need to put the space together. And sure enough, we had 33 people come together in person for these activations. And the talk Becoming Immortals was with my partner, Alex, who is brilliant. He understands a physical body more than most people from a spiritual, biospiritual perspective. Doctors and experts and leaders seek out his consultation in the world. So we really speak about in that kind of bonus training, once you've now come back into this base 12 and your DNA starts to recalibrate to who you really are in connection to source field and source intelligence, that the mental body shifts of actually realizing that we are immortal beings in our physiological body. He talks about how the body is actually immortal and how to restore and regenerate that immortal template and reverse the 4 death signals. And that talk is worth more than what this is offered for alone, yet you get all the activations on top of it.
Love it.
How long are each of these activations, or is there
It really doesn't even matter as long as they're
it really depends. Yes, some of them, I think pretty much all of them are probably at least an hour. The final part 6, I believe, is a 2-hour activation. That's a long, that one runs so much frequency through your body. And these are operating with the organic sound and light frequencies. These aren't meditations. These aren't channelings. As a speaker, I basically translate the sound domains. I'm from the sound domains. We talked about this before. So I hear sound, everything. Everything is emitting a frequency and I hear it and translate it. So my role in these missions has been to speak and translate the frequency that's coming through.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Us, the human antenna, know how we're meant to run that frequency through our spirit body and then through the planet. Some of them are a little bit longer. The waves run slower because a lot is happening and you will feel it. This is because you tap in through sound. There is no time. So you tap into this as though it's happening right now live. And you will feel, most people come in and experience Like they've never had experiences like these before, because most people are just like leading meditations from ego.
Yep.
Agreed.
Let me align with the Gregorian calendar and pretend that there's an event happening right now. But these are like real frequency pulses. Yeah.
I mean,
some of this is, it's fascinating because it really brings together some of the messages that I just even in that I've been receiving, but hadn't sat down long enough to really play and understand even the 12 base. I knew that I knew numbers and in its form were not exactly as stated. And I also knew about the 12, but it wasn't enough for me to, where do I go to research this unless I go and receive, unless I work with someone that is a teacher and truly receive the information from someone who's really worked with this and your ascended masters, right? Yeah. Because otherwise I could be on this a wild goose chase of trying to formulate what I'm experiencing. And so I think this is really beautiful that you've been able to bring this to Earth as the translation for Earth. Thank you for all of us, for all of humanity. I mean, it's big stuff. Thank you.
Yeah, really big stuff.
Receive that. And for us all. Yeah.
You guys, if you want the link, it's at houtehustle.com/live. And if you go under Ahaumna's picture, you will see and go directly to the link.
Oh my God, what happened? Where am I? Think, Rachel, think. What if one day you woke up and your life wasn't as you remembered? Who would you be? Who could you trust? What would you choose? What is Jake doing here? That's what happens in Jenna's upcoming transformational chick-lit novel, Falling in Stilettos.
It's time to come home, Rachel.
Home? Our home? With you. Now available on Amazon.
Yes, thank you. I'm very profoundly moved by your words. It shows the depth of our soul and deep healing that's available for us all. Oh my gosh. And then definitely resonates with me too, especially when she was having deep releases through the feet and couldn't walk at times. It makes me aware and just how grateful I am for having hands and feet. There was a lot of gratitude for the body that was felt throughout your talk today. And just the gratitude that we can have for just ease of motion and the things that we have around us. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Any parting words for us
for
today?
signing up for this insane life journey here on planet Earth, so you can bring this greater to us.
That's what I was trying to say, but words are failing me. So I hope that you receive that.
Yes, absolutely. My greatest joy is what has been translated in the message, just appreciation for our bodies. They are immaculate technologies. They are why we came here to have this experience, was for this human vessel and to come fully into it, not to escape it, not to try to leave it and ascend out of it or stay up here. It's to come fully into the body. And the journey of that, I will not lie to you, it is not easy. It is a journey that requires a tremendous amount of strength and support and fortification of your mind to stay oriented on love and peace and unity and love and God and all the things when things don't feel that way or are really challenged. Life isn't flowing and moving. But if you just keep going and keep devoting yourself to the activations that are happening and to these rites of passage, like on the other side, standing on the other side now of this massive, what ended up being a 9-year journey of fully coming into this body, is just so much bliss and ecstatic joy and love and connection and compassion for all is so worth it on the other side. It really truly is. So just keep having faith in your body. It knows the path. It's going to lead you to the correct people who can hold you through whatever it is you are navigating.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I feel like we could have a whole nother hour talking about how to. Maybe how to is not the right word though, but maybe surrendering to the awareness of the body or something like that. Wow.
Dana says, definitely receiving today.
Wow. All right. We thank you, Ahaumna.
We'll let you go for your day.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
you guys, we are going to take a quick break.
You got 5 minutes, right? How is everyone feeling? Everybody take a quick break, go get some water. And I will too. And we'll be back on with Jamie here just in a little while. Wouldn't that, wow, hasn't today already been just phenomenal? Wow, what a blessing. I'm so excited to be here with you. We will have a live event. Maybe Ahaumna might stop by. I don't know. We haven't asked her yet, but it'd be really cool if she could. But anyway, we have a live event here now that she's near the area. But if not, maybe she'll just send her a blessing from afar. It is November 7th through the 9th here in Austin, Texas. And it'll be really beautiful weather outside. It's going to be resort style. I'm going to take you through a QHHT, so quantum hypnotic healing. It will have the aspects of some past life emergence, but what it really does, it allows your oversoul to heal the body, to tell you where, to speak to you, to communicate exactly where you are meant to have awarenesses using your body and within your life and creating that life's purpose. There'll be some channeling event, and also Jeneth is going to take us through some awesomeness. So her and our Metis is going to take us through some body releasing from the different aspects of how we can hold a new frequency whenever we do have the ability to heal. We tend to forget that our bodies are so magnificent. And so bringing our awarenesses into our bodies, utilizing our bodies as actual information that it's giving us, and then instead of getting mad at the symptoms and awarenesses that it does give us, being able to translate that and to bring it into having it illuminate our what we consider life purpose, or what we consider our blueprint for the reasoning why we are in this lifetime today, giving you lots more ease and joy as you navigate through this amazing journey that we get to call life.
Oh my God, what happened? Where am I? Think, Rachel, think. What if one day you woke up and your life wasn't as you remembered? Who would you be? Who could you trust? What would you choose? What is Jake doing here? That's what happens in Jeneth's upcoming transformational chick-lit novel, Falling in Stilettos.
It's time to come home, Rachel.
Home? Our home? With you. Now available on Amazon.
Let's just give gratitude for all the messages that we've received today and will continue to receive. And for all our spiritual alignment and gifts coming aligned and release.
Thank you guys for your beautiful words on the chat.